If I would pay you 500K, you would change your name to Insurance Market.
Yeah, absolutely. No questions asked.
What, insurance, first name, market, last name, or your first name is Insurance
I
Market?
think .ae should be my last name, right?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Have a Nice Day podcast. If it's your first time tuning in, welcome to the show. And if it's not, welcome back. And I am your host, Joshua, with...
And Janine.
Yes, and today we have a very special guest. I know we haven't recorded in a while. I think it's been almost 2 months since our last episode. So welcome to the show. Thank you for reaching out and really making yourself known and making us also realize that, yes, we need to get back to podcasting. But on this podcast, we have a Dubai born and raised kid as well. His name is Abubakr, just like the metro that is there in Dera.
Funnily, I live right next to it.
So there you go.
Perfect.
I was born right next to it, and I make the joke that, hey, my parents were so lazy, they just looked out the window and first name that picked up, they just named me that.
They're like Abubakr.
Yeah.
At least it's not like Al-Qiyada or like...
yeah, it could be worse. Abu Hail.
Yeah.
This is my son Abu Hail, which is... Abu Hail is his father as well, right?
Abu is father.
Abu is father,
yeah.
yes.
So,
So, yeah, it could be worse. So much worse. So it's not as bad.
This on Center Point or something.
Yes, no, now it's like insurance market, right? Like every time I walk in, insurance market.
This is Alfred.
Yeah, they'll have to pay me. Like that's what I was saying. Like right before the podcast, right? For $1 million dirhams, I will change my name to insurancemarket.ae. Like no questions asked. Right amount of I'm open to negotiating. Like
times are tough, man. We gotta do
in
what
this
we gotta
economy.
do.
You know how much my petrol costs? Like I drive like a shitty. Okay, no swearing.
No. You can, shitty is okay.
No, but I drive like a normal sedan that consumes an economic amount of fuel. Like I fill my tank for like 100 dirhams, goes an entire week, back and forth from work, Saturdays doing the podcast, no troubles at all. Even that car for $1 million, I will change my name. Like no questions asked. Like I've been like we tried getting the guy, like the CEO of Insurance Market. When he comes in, it's a legitimate proposal. I'm willing to sit down, negotiate. If not 1 mil, I will go down as like 800K. Any amount of money. Like I'm happy to change my name immediately. Like no questions
What
asked.
would be the last price that you would go for?
10
Five?
dirhams. Okay.
500?
500.
Yeah,
Okay.
500K. Yeah.
Okay, $500,000.
So if
Half
I
a
would
mil.
pay you 500K, you would change your name to Insurance Market.
Yeah, absolutely. No questions asked.
What, insurance, first name, market, last name, or your first name is Insurance
I
Market?
think .ae should be my last name, right?
Fair enough.
Yeah. Because even their branding's like Insurance Market's like one word. Like I think
That's
the
true.
logical split is AE.
Yes.
Yeah.
AE.ae.
That is
And
the-
spell it out.
Yeah,
dot.
so like
AE.
even professionally, it won't make a big difference because they will just call me Mr. AE.
Yes.
Which is very professional.
Actually,
That is
Yeah.
very nice.
Yeah.
that
so-
sounds like you're really
instead
from
like Mr.
UAE.
Market doesn't sound as
Yeah.
actually there are a lot of people named Market, by the way. Like I've recently, like I met this German person the other day. Her name's like Miss Mark, some XYZ Market. Like interesting.
Like
Her last
spelled
name.
as
Market.
Market.
No, it's Markert. Markert.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know how to pronounce it.
That's cool. It's like supermarket, Market supermarket.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, in India, right? Like, for example, Mumbai and all these places, a lot of people are named after the professions that their ancestors
Yeah.
used to do, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's the dohad walas and the chai walas and the dat walas. And
Exactly.
this wala. Right? So, you know what? If my job is to shill for a company, might as well be market.
Yeah. We do the same for in Lebanon. Khuri is priest, so my lineage is...
So who's the guy who messed up and decided
I
to
have no
family?
idea. I don't have
Because
no
priests
idea.
are not allowed to marry, so some guy.
Some guy.
Someone
has
was
a
like,
fun.
you know what?
I'm
I
gonna
don't
break
wanna
this
be a
lineage
priest.
and just start a family and ruin whatever. Okay, but going back to Abubakr, he is one of the 9 people, eight
Yeah.
people of the.
As it stands, it could be 9 tomorrow. It depends on how I'm
it could
feeling.
change. It started with how many people?
It started with 4. Yeah,
See?
it started with 4, then 2 left. Actually, 1 left and 1 was kicked out because she never showed up.
These guys, by the way, I want to talk to you guys about how strict or how dedicated this podcast is. That is the right word.
I'm like the team a-hole.
Okay.
Everybody loves me but hates me very much.
They have a love-hate relationship.
Yeah, very
with
love-hate
you.
relationship,
Yeah.
right? But we started with 4 people. 1 person went out. 1 person was kicked out. I still have a camera and I'm trying to reach it. So if you see this podcast, I have your camera with me. Please get it from me. I don't want to carry it everywhere. But after that, 1 other person joined, and then we brought in guests. The guests wanted to be part of it. Then the guest became a part of it. So now it's an 8-people team.
Awesome. Okay.
Everybody does quite a lot of work, honestly.
That's good because you get
which is-
everyone chipping in.
Yeah, everybody's
Yeah.
chipping in.
I didn't even mention your podcast name, so I
Yeah,
think
that's probably like
I think what are you talking about?
Yeah, the plug's important.
Yes, so the most important thing is that he's one of the 8 people of the Dollar Diaries podcast, which is a fast-growing podcast targeted to young adults who want to learn about entrepreneurship, lifestyle, and how to navigate the world as we know it.
fast growing is probably an overstatement.
No, bro, trust me, fast growing in the UAE, if you're not an influencer or you don't really have a name for yourself out there, but the way that you already marketed and have like 44 episodes in a year, then that to me is fast growing.
And a lot more in the backlog.
Yeah, so let's welcome to the show Abubakr from the Dollar Diaries. I would love to have the whole team on this podcast, but
You wouldn't be
there's-
able to
Yeah,
fit
I
it,
know,
yeah.
I know. My
You-
lap can only maybe seat 2 people, and then
Maybe one here, one here.
yeah, or we.
Some
could-
of us are tiny, so not everybody's as fat as me. So that does help quite a bit.
He's taking 1 full chair, guys. So it's so. I'm kidding, man. We love you. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the
Plus,
show.
I think the Zoom can only do 4 people, so you'll
4.
have to go away.
I have 2 lapel wireless mics anyway, so
That's what 6.
6 and
Congratulations,
then 1
sis.
more actually. I have 7 then.
Oh no, one of us don't talk as much. So
There you go.
We're
Who's the
also-
pretty one will sit in the middle,
Yeah,
and then
we'll put the nice person in the
Yeah,
middle. And one
the
guy,
nice
we
looking
always have
person.
that one guy behind the camera who doesn't want to get in front of the camera.
One can share.
Yeah, so it's fine. Like everything adds up. Like it's perfect.
Well, just sit around here.
but okay. But my first question to you, since we're on the topic of your podcast, why isn't it called Dirham Diaries instead
It just
of?
doesn't have a ring to it. We have a PR person in the team. She's been pushing so hard to make it the Dirham Diaries, and this is like a legitimate response. Why is it not the Dirham Diaries? Why is it not? The dollar is just fun.
And
right?
dollar is more
It's just-
universally
yeah, it's just-
accepted.
You go to anywhere in the world, you say how much this is. It's like we have everybody in the world has this weird obsession towards the dollar sign, right? You go anywhere in the world, no matter where, you ask them what it is, they'll say it in their local currency and they will convert it into dollars.
Dollars, yeah.
Like you go, it's just a universal thing, and it also has a nice ring to it.
Well, I guess the dirham is pegged to the dollar anyways.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's almost
you
the
go.
same thing.
not just that,
anyway.
it's 3.14 times less valuable. So it's
Yeah, I rather get like when you were saying 500,000. If it was in dollars,
oh yeah,
then we're talking.
Yeah,
Dirhams, okay, maybe
that's
I
a
need
fact
to.
check. Like,
Yeah. So dollars really has a lot more value, especially to a lot of
yeah,
people.
and it's just
so-
like on a keyword basis also, it's a lot more recognizable keyword, right? Like from an SEO point of view, dollars, just
Right.
Dollar Diaries, it's a very good set of keywords
Yeah.
if you want to do something later.
Yeah, it's a good name actually.
And to be really honest with you, we didn't put any thought into it. We were just scrambling for 8 different names. We put like a WhatsApp poll, and everybody, like the 4 people at that time, just selected that at the first. So that's how there's
Nice.
no unique vision or like a brand guidelines or a vision missions, none of it. We were just lazy, and we were like going through 8 different names, and everybody just voted on that one name. That's as simple as that.
so simple.
Yeah, that's
For us,
cool.
it took maybe a couple of months to come up with our podcast name.
Yeah, we asked for some help.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
mean,
good name.
we did a poll,
It's
yeah.
like have a nice day. Have
Yeah.
It's a very brilliant name. I wish we put that much thought into anything we do. We just
I wanted 2 things. I wanted to mention that we are both half, because that was the more of the core of our podcast, and I wanted to be an acronym. So when I saw Have a Nice Day, and I saw, okay, HAND, hand. Okay, hand is good. Let's take hand. So it's a yeah. So
It's like, yeah,
it
no, makes
works
sense.
unless we add the P and then it's hand.
yeah.
Which doesn't
I
make
mean,
any
it's
sense.
Sounds
fine.
creative.
Yeah, it's a very creative way.
Yeah.
Like we just like money. I just like to get paid. You know, like I was
Who doesn't?
yeah, I was unemployed for a year, like last year.
Okay.
And dude, I love money that now. Like I it's not like I love money sort of thing. I would just like to live comfortably money, right? So when we were thinking about like, hey, what do we talk about and everything, you know what would be fun to talk about? How to make money or how to get money. How did these people who made significant like a consideration with their life, right? Like they're either influencers, C-level execs, all these people. How the hell did they get where they are?
Right.
Right? And that it's just like we didn't think about like how we monetize it or anything. There were certain people we wanted to genuinely talk to. We asked them for a cup of coffee. They would be like, hey, what's the agenda behind this? Hey, do I want to spend time with you? Maybe is he asking me for a job? You tell them, hey, I'm going to put 2 mics in front of you and a couple of cameras in front of you and we're going to interrogate you. And they're so happy to come in. They're like, oh, like that. This sounds like fun. But you ask them for a cup of coffee, they'll be like, no. So this is just an excuse for us to talk to very interesting people.
Right.
Right? It's as simple as that. That was the initial idea. We just wanted to find these people. We want to talk and we needed an excuse to get them, book them for 2 full hours and just talk to them. And so far it's worked out brilliantly.
So that's what sparked it. You were all together and you're like, you know what, let's start a podcast.
Okay, what sparked it was different. So it was 2023. We'll get into this a little bit later maybe. I was working at a company which eventually shut down. Whole other story, long story. But at that time my friend called me. He's a childhood friend of mine. We used to play football together when we were young. We used to play football in Dera. And he called me. He works in Fly Dubai, and he was like, hey, listen, let's do something. I am getting itchy. I don't like my 9-to-5 job. He still doesn't like his 9-to-5 job, by the way. But he's like, I don't like we'll do something. We got together. We were like, hey, should we sell shoes? Should we sell slippers? Should we sell shirts?
Straight into the entrepreneurship side of things.
We just wanted to make money.
Do
Again,
something.
it's
Something,
all the
an
fundamental
additional
is
source of
that like
income,
the fundamental is he didn't want to do his 9-to-5 job, and I've always had the itch to do something on my own. It's not like I hate my 9-to-5 job. I love my 9-to-5 job. I just have an itch to do something. Like I can't
Something
like,
extra.
Yes, it just itches. Like I just want to do something new, try new things, be creative, something or the other. And we were like looking at, hey, should we sell shirts, shoes, pants, whatever. Then we were briefly looking into flipping cars. And we were like, okay, we had like zero clue on what to get started with. So let's figure out the marketing channel first. And then once we have a good solid marketing funnel, maybe we can sell whatever we want down the line.
Okay.
So we started posting on this thing. We started creating short reels that did somewhat this thing. And then we were like, okay, what is a very sustainable way to get 4 clips per week? We get somebody to talk to for an hour or so. We started that. The episodes were here, there, whatever. We were able to clip something, not clip something. And then 4 or 5, 6 episodes down the line, we were like, you know what, this is a lot more fun than whatever we would have done otherwise. So let's just start doing this. Let's bring in more guests. Let's bring in bigger guests. Let's bring in more interesting guests. Let's bring in influencers. Let's bring in C-level executives. But at the same time, also bring our friends. Okay, let's bring in young people who are doing interesting things. We just want to have a chat with them. And we were like, okay, let's grow this. 6 months down the line, we were like, okay, we're getting a good response. Like,
very nice.
Right, we're getting good response from the guests. There are more interesting people willing to come on than before. So it's just like a circular thing. Like we bring in one good guest, that flows into another good guest, another good guest, another good guest. And the viewers also, like, they come for one guest, then they stick around for the other guest.
Yeah.
So the trajectory is slow, but the trajectory, like the people who come, it doesn't matter if 1 million people are watching or 1 billion people are watching. It doesn't matter. If 5 people watch whatever we produce consistently, that's already a win.
100%.
Right? And that's the trajectory we're going in. It is a slow trajectory, but that was the spark of it all. That's where we are right now. And we also come from different backgrounds. I come from a finance and an IT background, startup background, venture capital background. There's somebody in the team who comes from an investment banking background who's actively doing investment banking and everything. So we started bringing in more startup founders, right? We wanted to know what their business model is, everything. And that becomes like every episode is a different trajectory. We bring in like a guy working in banking. It's a whole other thing that appeals to a different niche of people.
Yeah.
And yes, we've done it for a year and we're still experimenting even after a year. So it's a wild journey. We love going in, and it's also a beautiful fucking excuse. Oh, no swearing.
All good. Don't worry.
You're fine.
$1 in the swear jar though.
If you're bleeping, you're gonna have a very hard time. I used to swear a lot more, but then ever since I started bleeping myself, it became.
You became more conscious.
I'll just manually bleep it from the beginning then.
But it's a beautiful excuse for my friends my childhood friends I met in university, friends I met along the way, all of us to just hang out every Saturday. It's as
That's
simple as that. We
nice.
just go there at 12. We have 2 guests stacked up for like 2 hours each. We pack up, we have lunch together, we have dinner maybe sometimes together. Yesterday we were out till like 10, 11. We were out, like we were just hanging out. We went to an event. So it's just like typically what, like, you know, what I noticed like right out of university is like we had like zero time to meet each other.
Right.
One of my friends, she works
Welcome to adult life.
yeah, one of my that too, like I'm lucky in the sense that I have a 9 to 5 job. After 5 I'm free to do whatever I want.
Yeah.
I have a friend who works in cybersecurity and Etisalat. She's part of the podcast. She has 1 month she has morning shift, 1 month she has evening shift, 1 month she
okay.
has night shift, and her shifts keep changing. Public holiday she has to work, weekend she has to work. It's a nightmare. So for me to, and she lives in Jeddah, like right here, okay? For me to come to Jeddah is like a 10-minute car ride.
Yeah.
Right? I cannot come and meet, and she works in Etisalat, which is also a 10-minute car ride from my home. And I can't come meet her because she's just busy.
Yeah.
Right? And this is just like, hey, we know this Saturday, this person, 2 months in advance, I've told you you're going to do this.
Yeah.
You will be able to align your schedule accordingly.
Yeah.
There's a good probability that I will meet her on a regular basis. And that's just an added benefit of all of this.
It's like a friendly meetup, but then you have some more like productivity added to it. You learn more.
And it's also
meeting
like
with
since
other
we started
people.
like outsourcing the editing, it's also become a very expensive meetup.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but
Can imagine.
in the grand scheme of things, it's all right.
But do all of you like pitch in or pool in money together and say, okay, for this month it's gonna take around 1,000 dirhams to edit the podcast, whatever we recorded, so everyone pools in something a little bit? Or is there one main finance guy who's like, I'll take care of everything? And
Right now, it's not all of us.
Okay.
So initially when we started, we bought in, we had this very deep, so every money we've spent for the podcast and other subsidiary things, everything's accounted.
okay,
Everything's in an accounting software that I accounted. Every penny's there.
Every dollar
Every
is
dollar
there.
of who spent what amount to the
In a
fills
diary.
this
is
is
there.
the Dollar Diary.
Right? Everything, like, so yeah, all I need to do is like anytime I need to have a chat with the team, I go to the software, generate a financial statement, and we have the balance sheet, income statement, and the cash
These
flow
guys
statement.
are next level, man.
As an accountant.
Yeah.
Are you CPA?
No, like 1/3 of a CFA.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So there is a financial statement for the things from year like day 0, right? So initially I put in like, so far I put in like 5,000 dirhams of my money. Some of the equipments were like scrambled around, like your equipment, that is not even accounted for. My friend who works in Fly Dubai, who was the initial person who started with, he put in nearly 10,000 dirhams into it. And 5,000 dirhams of it is the expenses, operating expenses.
Okay.
10,000 dirhams is just the fixed asset, which is the equipment and everything that we can just reuse. So 15,000 dirhams spent so far. And that the other day, like just 2 weeks ago, we were doing the math. Hey, if we went to like a Podster or like one of these agencies, like companies that rent per hour, right? Like they charge like 450, anywhere between 300 to 450 dirhams an hour.
Per hour.
If we spend the same time that we spend in this place and we scrambled our equipments, we would have spent anywhere between 20 to 30,000 dirhams more over that year.
Plus, you don't want the same background as all the 1,000 other
That is
podcasters in the UAE.
Yeah, everybody has the same seating, same
Everyone,
chairs.
Which
man.
one? The one with the blue light?
You know it. If you
Yeah.
see that particular background, I'll be like, okay, another
There's
podster.
like 4 variations, and everybody has that 4
They
variations.
have 4 different rooms.
Either
yeah.
they're sitting in a chair or they're sitting in a lounge, but it's all the same 4 variations.
Dark background, but there's light, or there's like a living room sort of with a a chair like this, but the back is a little bit high, and then there's a make-believe fireplace, and that's what
The make-believe fireplace. Yeah, dude, that's the like.
That's one of the key staples.
You know, they charge like that make-believe fireplace. There's a pricing for 2 people, and there's a pricing for 1 extra person added on because they're moving a chair and putting a mic stand there. Insane, right? Insane. And we were just
This is
thinking,
how you make money. This is how you make money.
we did the math on it, right? Like 450 dirhams. Let's do some math, okay?
Let's do it.
Because
Because it's a
because
Dollar
the Indian
Diaries.
and the accountant in him wants to get it.
So we are looking at 450 dirhams
Yeah.
per hour let's say on average they're making they're booked out for like 6 hours or 7 hours. Okay, let's say they're off for public holidays, Saturdays, Sundays, probably they're more this thing. On average, let's say they're doing 28 days a month.
Yeah.
Okay, you multiply that by 12 months. That's how much they're making in a year.
And I'm 100% it's going to be more as well.
It's probably more.
Because there's add-ons.
This is one room.
Oh yeah, this is one room and they have 4.
You multiply that by 4, they have like maybe 2 locations, and then add-ons, etc. You add plus 25%.
Easy.
That's a 10 mil revenue. Okay, even if you consider your rentals and equipment costs and everything, you're looking at like an operating margin of like 80%.
And whatever they buy, it can be used for the same. I mean, it's there. It's just sitting there.
Asset, right?
You can use it. Yeah.
So that's like, if you're making 80% of that money as your profit, that's a very profitable business.
Yeah.
Especially with the number of people who
want to get into
podcasting. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's insane how much money they make.
You should get the owners on your podcast. The owners.
Yeah, but I don't want to book their podcast studio for that. That's a very.
Tell them we'll record it.
Yeah.
Only if we interview you and it's for free.
Yeah.
Negotiate.
I don't think they're very very much in need of publicity, considering how many very famous podcasts are doing out there.
I agree. Because I'm subscribed to their newsletter for some reason. I think maybe once when I was just on the website just trying to see how the pricing and how the dynamics work of it. Man, they even have like, we're having a get together with all the podcasters.
Yeah, I've been to some of them. I'm going to go to the other one. There's like a WhatsApp group with like so many people there, and some of my team members are there. So we do the chat on this thing. We just like, sometimes we just like put in certain messages just to have fun.
Yeah.
And then we come back to our WhatsApp group and we just make fun of them. And our understanding of it is that it's a cesspool, right? It is a cesspool. Like, every 5th day, there is probably somebody trying to sell you on a dream that podcasting is going to get you out of your 9 to 5.
Oh.
Right?
Really?
Yeah. I mean, you have to understand, like, Dubai.
What is the productivity podcasters here, or?
There is a lot of these productivity podcasters.
Selling you a course and all those things.
Anytime somebody sells you a course or sells you on a pipe dream, A, they're probably going to be from Dubai, and B, they're selling a scam. It's
100%.
It's almost certain, right? And there's always like, they need like channels, marketing channels to let go. So they will go on other people's podcasts. They will go on like, different shows.
Pay Love in Dubai for a post.
So my friend who works in PR, she does the podcast with us. She has the rate card for Love in Dubai. I'm going on a tangent, right? The rate card for Love in Dubai is insane. It's so expensive and it doesn't make sense. Right? Their YouTube.
How much is it if you? Because I actually unfollowed Love in Dubai. Personal reasons. I really don't. I mean, understand their whole business or whatever they want to do, and because all the post, man, is like, I don't understand what's going on this page. So they don't fact check. They don't do anything.
We had the founder of Love in Dubai on the podcast.
Oh, I'm so sorry then. Sorry, I love Love in Dubai.
And their rate card is there. Let's see. For articles, videos, show and podcast, social content. Okay. Instagram static post. One static post, they're saying they will roughly get 70,000 impression, is $3,250. One post.
That's for a picture.
Static post.
Wow.
Okay.
Is there a reel?
Okay. Instagram video post. That is one video or reel posted to Instagram feed. They're saying they will get somewhere around 30,000 views. That is $3,750.
Wow.
But why? They have 1 million followers. Why is their number of views so low?
Because look at their impressions. It's not too high even.
Huh.
70,000? I guess.
That's
I don't
crazy.
know.
Yeah. So this is just for Instagram. Like, I mean, to some degree, Instagram, I get it because of how many followers are there. 30,000 impressions is not nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, I'm not the marketing expert to figure out the ROI on that. But you know what? I get it. What bothers me so much is the... and I mean, Richard, like the founder, good connection. I text him now and then. like we have a really cordial relationship. So no offense to Richard, but this is kind of absurd, right?
But impressions are impressions. It's not a
Yeah.
guarantee that
You
these
can
people
convert
will,
something into
yeah.
something.
It's
yeah.
not supposed to be, but also
Yeah.
here's the thing, right? I'm looking at video distribution. Okay, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram post. They're charging 5,775 per video. They're promising up to 150,000 reach and views of 50,000. But if you go to their YouTube channel, they are not doing that numbers, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes the podcast we run has sometimes more views than their this thing, and this is Love in Dubai that is charging X
Yeah.
amount of money. So
Yeah.
there is a fundamental disconnect between the rate card they send out to people versus
what they can promise or what can they deliver, right? That's
Yeah, but
insane,
people
no?
who have money would just take it. They would snatch it.
Yeah, people are posting their graduation videos now in Love in Dubai,
Yeah.
and I'm like, how much money do you have?
In Dubai, there's a lot of money flowing around, especially with the student population.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't say it out loud, but there are students who like send out their assignments to other people.
Oh yeah.
And there
Oh
is
yeah, that is
course.
100%.
Particular universities, you will make a lot of money if you're in that business.
Yeah. I can imagine.
I shall not comment further.
Yeah.
That's it.
Let's just say
Do not hold them accountable to
let's
this,
just
guys.
say I was very comfortable during COVID.
I love that. And I wanted, we were discussing this off camera earlier, but your podcast team members, all of you are Gen Zs,
Yeah.
right? This is what you mentioned earlier.
Everybody's between 25 and 22.
I feel very old.
Even I am like, I was just saying, like, our time is done. Like, there's nothing else left for us.
I mean, I don't agree with that.
No,
I
I
think
think-
our time is
There's
just
always a
yeah.
market for old people.
Thank you. It's
And
called retirement homes
If there's
and nursing homes.
if there's anyone listening to podcasts, millennials are still the bigger chunk of
Yeah, that is
who's
there.
listening to
That
podcasts.
is that is there.
Because
That
again,
have.
we were talking about Gen Zs and their attention span. Coming from a Gen Z.
A goldfish has more. Like
Yeah.
they used to say, oh, they have the attention of no. The goldfish has more attention span than Gen Z, right? It is without a fact. Dude, I'm like I listen to a lot of long form content, and even when like I can't just listen to while long form, like while maybe Joe Rogan's going on my ears, I am scrolling on Twitter, like seeing what's this,
Yeah.
and there's 8 different things happening at the same time, and I'm watching that, and there's a video. I stopped the Joe Rogan podcast to get on that, and there is
Yeah.
like another podcast where somebody's saying something, and underneath it there's Subway Surfers going on it, and I don't know which one I'm looking at. Am
Yeah.
I looking at the video? Am I looking at
They
the Subway
reference
Surfer?
something. I want to Google this. Checking comments in the meantime.
Yeah, I do all that and I get out, and at the end of the day I've gained 0, right? And I think that's a bad habit. Then I look at my brother. He has his iPad. He's 11 years younger than me.
Okay.
Okay, so
So is he Gen Alpha?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how the generation thing works. Everybody has a different definition. But he uses his iPad or he's watching YouTube on the TV, and he's watching shorts, like the YouTube shorts, and he doesn't watch the shorts. He's going through the comments while watching the shorts and like flicking through the comments while watching the short. And I'm just looking at it. This is worse than me.
Yeah.
And I think I'm pretty bad. And this guy's like just going like watching, and he doesn't even watch like the full short. He doesn't even read the comments. It just has to move the entire
Right.
time. It just like
Just has to be constantly
it's
doing
not
something.
entertainment. It's like sort of numbing, right?
Yeah.
Like he's not even going like
It's a distraction. It's a distraction.
yeah, right. Like when I'm going through the reels and TikToks and all these things, like at least I'm going through the full content, right? Like if it's interesting, I'm going to go to the end of it, or if it's not interesting, I make my mind in like that 3-second span, right? But I am at least making that decision. For him, the content, he won't even know. Like they are talking about like the Roman Empire and this and that and what. Zero context to what is happening. He just wants the fancy things to move on the screen while flicking through the screen, like the comment section, and reads nothing. And it's insane.
Yeah.
It's
I was just talking to this with Janine actually. Like I was talking about Coco Melon. You know Coco Melon?
yeah.
And I was watching this thing about how Coco Melon really takes into consideration how to really capture the attention of a child by using vibrant colors. There's no scene that is more than 2 seconds long. It will always change there's something happening, something dynamic, not like someone walking slowly. Like no, someone will jump out of somewhere, some bird will appear in the sky out of nowhere, and it's all these things that really captures the kids' attention. And Cocomelon now is like one of the most viewed YouTube channels there, and all kids, man. The moment you, like, there are these videos of a kid like sleeping. Here's the Cocomelon intro, and then suddenly wakes up and he's already like, and it's like
Laser
hypnotizing,
focused.
you know. And
Yeah.
it's crazy like how
I would
media
think, like,
or
Cocomelon's probably a very extreme example, right? We were
Yeah.
like, the team and I were looking at like statistics about things like how videos work and everything. I read something that previously, just regular cinema, Hollywood movies, they used to have a scene of like 5 minutes per scene. Like a frame is set there for 5 minutes. That's the average. Okay. Now it's 20 seconds.
wow,
Average. And we're not talking about like a YouTube channel or Cocomelon.
like a
We're talking about
Hollywood
like a mainstream Hollywood cinemas where the every frame has to switch every 20 seconds. And probably like the Marvel movies and things have a lot to do with it. By the way,
Yeah.
huge fan of Marvel movies. No dissing them. But I don't want Disney to sue me. But what happens is like all those like the colors and the action and everything.
Yeah.
All that aside, that frame, like how much a single scene is there is just 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Right, on average. Okay, maybe some movies could have longer certain things, but you know that fact, and you go into a cinema theater and you watch any movie, you would understand it. Like if you see old movies, right, like
Oh yeah, it's very different.
recently I saw
The Godfather.
okay, Godfather is something I have to see.
You have to.
I get shit on for not seeing
I haven't seen it
Godfather.
either, so
Yeah.
don't worry.
Okay, I was watching Star Wars.
Okay.
Empire Strikes Back. There is a scene where of like Luke and Han, not Luke and Han, sorry, Leia and Han getting together and everything. It's a very long scene. Like the camera is set in that scene for a very long time. Like a good chunk of the movie is set. And you go and watch like a new rom-com. Like what was the one with Sydney Sweeney recently and Glenn? Man,
Oh, I've seen that in the coffee shop where they
yeah,
met,
yeah,
right?
It's a miserable movie. But you see that movie, there is one scene where where the actor is not on the frame, so they had to ADR that dialogue, and that scene sticks out like a sore thumb because no other scene in that movie has that long of a time frame, and that time frame is like maybe 2 minutes. Okay, it's just a dialogue, and they had to do that dialogue maybe after the main shoot, they extra shoots, and they probably just had Sydney Sweeney in the frame, and the other actors probably not there, scheduling whatever. So that is a ADR line, like they recorded the audio behind and they put it in later,
and then they act,
right? And because of that, they can't scene switch as often.
Yeah.
But that scene sticks out like a sore thumb because of how fast that rest of the scenes are moving, and that's like, it's just like a immediate thing. So you know this fact, you go and watch any movie, new movie versus old movie, you will realize it. You will see like cars moving in slowly into the frame in the old movies. Now the cars just come in,
Yeah.
right? Or the car is just there. You will never see a car rolling into the scene slowly
Yeah.
anymore in the movies, which is
Or
insane.
even if it's a monologue, like there's always like different angles of the camera.
Scene
and
switch, right?
It
Scene switch.
switches. Okay,
and then
the
the
front,
dynamic
maybe the side.
music in the background
Yeah.
to really enhance
Yeah.
the effect of the monologue.
We
or
actually
something.
tried this in the podcast because we have a 3-camera setup. We tried switching the scene like every 2 seconds, and we tried that, and we tried having a debate with another person where we sped up the audio footage. Sorry. We sped up the entire footage by 120, like on Premiere Pro, 120%, and then use pitch shifter to like correct the audio to normal level. And the entire like the debate was like a quick back and forth. That shit had more views than anything else we did. Like not more views, like more engagement. Like the like level at which people drop was so much later.
Ah.
Wow.
And it was nothing. It was just we had to select all, make it 120%, adjust the pitch, and that's it.
Oh.
That's it.
Yeah.
And that thing has like highest engagement rate so far. And it's as simple as that. Like scene switch, like every 2 seconds scene switch. We tried putting like a banner that says like how long. We were just experimenting.
Yeah.
We stopped experimenting with it because at the end of the day, we don't want them for that quick capture. We want anybody who stays to stay for the
long run. Yeah.
But when we tested it out, like bars like that slowly decrease as soon as the next topic's coming.
Right.
Then we tried bars that expand both sides when it was coming.
Yeah.
And those have like really high engagement rates.
Really?
Yeah.
I saw also you on I think in the last episode you posted, you put a small banner on the top right, next topic.
Yeah, we do that.
So like the people like, okay, I'm watching this, but I know the next topic coming up is this. So I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll
yeah,
stay.
that's the medium ground we found so
Yeah,
far.
okay.
Like it's not too distracting, but at the same time, to some degree,
They-
at
at least, yeah.
And like from
Time, and you put timestamps.
yeah,
and
from an
everything.
editing point of view, it doesn't become a big, huge hassle to do that as well. Because
Yeah.
on this thing, right? Like if I'm creating the bars and everything, I have to set time code.
Yeah, exactly.
It becomes a
yeah.
little bit of a hassle. So I don't want to make it a hassle for
Yeah.
the editor as well. This is just like a template file that you just put on.
Yeah.
Just change it text and it's done.
Yeah.
Right. So as simple as possible it can be.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, the attention spans miserable. People don't, and I think it's also like even in your daily work life and everything. Previously people used to like, so a part of my day job is to document processes, make sure the processes are proper, accurate, if there are cracks, and I have to process it.
So you speak to a lot of people, gather them one
Lot
by
of
one.
shadowing,
yeah.
lot of figuring out. So I
Lots
work
of
like
asking why.
cross-functional. Yeah, asking why is a huge part of it, and it's very hard to ask. Like, hey,
Yeah,
fun
you're the
question.
person that people hate.
I know this is your
basically.
job that you do every day, but
No, the problem is like dealing with salespeople because their entire job is to sell.
Yeah.
Right? And you go to them, hey, funny story. How many sales did you make this year?
Yeah.
And if you don't ask it in the right way, it comes out as an aggressive question.
Yes.
Like it's like I'm asking them, are you doing a good job?
Exactly.
Right? And
Or are you doing your job correctly?
yeah, it's like a, there's like a very fun way to like there is a way to question people, right? You go and say, hey, Joshua, when did you stop beating your wife? And that
never. I haven't stopped yet.
So,
Still do it.
yeah, it implies that there is no way for you to get out of that question except for the fact that it implies that you are beating your wife.
Yeah.
Right? So it's very hard to ask questions in a very diplomatic manner that
Yeah.
doesn't. So you have to go and like, hey, can I shadow you for a day? Can I just see what you're doing, how you're doing? We're trying to fix the processes. We're trying to make your life simpler. And then you have to kind of deliver on this making life simpler
Yes.
process. If you don't, they will
They'll
come
be
back.
like, you wasted my time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the question is that, hey, so I work cross-functional. I have to work with like the financial model. Then I have to work with the tech team, the sales team. The financial model says that a salesperson can technically call up 8 leads.
Okay.
Okay. The CRM says that they are not calling 8 leads. They are only calling 4 or 6.
Okay.
Then I have to go to the marketing and ask like, hey, why are they not getting 8 leads to begin with? They tell me it's a salespeople's job to go out and find leads as well.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Then I go back to the sales team. Hey, listen, you are doing 4 leads. Where is the remaining 4?
Yeah.
Because I need to tell them why this revenue figure that we magically came out of is not being met. Right? And then it becomes a diplomatic thing. And I completely lost tangent of what we were initially talking about.
We were talking about.
Where did we come from? That is the question.
No, we were talking about. He started talking about his job, then he asked about something, but then there was something about. No, I know this. I was just.
He zoned out mid-conversation.
Yeah, he zoned out.
No, I did not. I'll tell you where we were.
Okay, we'll wait for you. We got this.
Yeah, we got time.
We're talking about jobs.
Do you know where we were?
No, I don't.
And so also you zoned out. He zoned out for sure.
I'm just prompting you to see if you could.
No.
Remember.
I know where we were. I can tell you. I just need a second. Wait, let me just get into the
We'll get back to it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter about
Yeah,
it.
anybody who's watching this, they're probably zoned out by now as well.
We're talking about zoning out. There you go. We're talking about the span of.
Right, zoning out.
Yeah. See?
How the hell did we get to all?
No, because you asked her about the job part, and that's where we started getting on a tangent. But zoning out is a very big thing.
Yeah, it just
regardless of like.
It kind of shows, right? Like we are having a conversation right in front of us. No phones, nothing.
Yeah.
Everything's there.
Yeah.
You're probably distracted by the remarkable, but
I'm distracted by the video, but I only glance here and there. But
what I started doing is, his name's Aditya. Aditya, you take care of the cameras. Let me just have a conversation, right? And that helps quite a bit. But zoning out, like it's just
Mm.
mentally we are ready to like zone out. Like anything more than 3 minutes, we are out.
Yeah. But that wasn't the case with our parents and grandparents. They were able to sit down, have a conversation, sit down for dinner, no phones allowed. In the morning, they would read the newspapers with a cup of coffee, have a long morning before they start their day. Now it's like,
okay, I have a counterpoint for that. They had the luxury to do that.
Yeah.
Because the cost of living wasn't that much. They hadn't have to run. They could just go out, knock a door and get a job. Right? Now I have to sit in my goddamn bedroom and like click on LinkedIn, like click easy apply. And I get like one response and they're like, oh yeah, we are looking for an unpaid intern. I'm like, so what the hell? So the lifestyle's changed quite a bit. Right?
I 100% agree with how much times have changed. Like even when applying for a job, you cannot use your standard CV. You have to customize your CV based on that role. So you see, okay, I have to use these words that is there on the job description. I have to change something about my CV because now there's this whole AI
they call it
filtering
the
system.
ATS system, right?
Application
tracking system.
Yes.
When I was applying for jobs, to be very blunt, right? There is in Dubai, at least to my experience, there's no way you get job by applying it on a goddamn job board, right? It's all about like, I know somebody, please give me a goddamn job. I'm willing to get paid very little for this job that I'm doing for you, sort of a situation. So every time I used to apply for a job, there was like an ATS tracker, which like I put in the job description and I put in my CV and it says like what all keywords are missing. So I copy those keywords, put it on like on the Word document, like on the footer.
And then white font.
White font it all. And 9 out of 10 times it gets to the next level. And then they figure out I'm a con artist, so they get rid of me.
They're like, not this guy.
Yeah, this guy's finding shortcuts.
This guy knows what he's doing. He interviews the top guys and he gets a little bit.
I just want to go back to
on this point, right? Like,
go ahead,
he's like, the recruiters know that, hey, if I apply for JP Morgan, this guy is such a con man. This guy should technically work with my team, but
he would fit in perfectly.
He would fit in perfectly, but no, for some reason we can't hire him.
Not from the beginning.
The ethics are for the interns. Once you cross that stage, ethics are out of the door. We are here to make money.
As soon as you become a full-time employee. I wanted to get back to your point that job hunting now is difficult, and I hear that a lot from Gen Zers. How do you call it? Gen Z population. I wouldn't say it's necessarily the same during our time when we first started.
No, it's as bad, I think.
No, it's bad now, but our time is better when at least I started.
For me, not so much. You're smarter than me. That's why.
No, but I don't know. I think maybe women as well in the UAE wouldn't say easier. I need to be very careful with what I'm saying, but we are privileged to be one of the.
You cancelled.
No. Look, do you agree?
It's a half and half. Okay.
I think in my time,
I know a friend. Okay, like my friend, there is a certain places where you get hired for being a woman. Okay, because they have to fill their whatever quotas and whatever everything. So yes, that is also happening. But at the same time, there are like my friend, she got rejected from a job because she was a woman. Okay. So it's always this extreme or that extreme. There's never a middle ground for everything. And the ideal world is a middle ground, not extremes of anything.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just always an extreme. One company is going to be like, hey, we can't hire women at all. And the other company goes to an extent of giving period leaves for women and everything. There are companies which do that. Zomato, Tish Tash. They do
Tish
that.
Tash is the first one who...
Yeah. So the middle ground's always nicer.
Yeah.
You don't have to be either extremes.
Yeah.
Right? But to your point, right?
That's what I have understood. It's way more difficult now for your generation.
Yes,
because
I would say it is the case.
Openings are much lower. I mean, the job rate of openings are much lower than the number who are graduating. So, and then people who are hiring want to hire people who have experience. You just graduated, you have no experience, so how do you start off? So it's always...
Then there's the whole AI debate about AI taking jobs. There's the whole debate about immigrants coming to a country, reducing the salaries. So there's a million things that we can talk about, and then that's why everyone now is really turning into a side hustle mentality as well, or a different kind of hustle mentality where like, okay, I'm going to be a content creator, I'm going to get into an influencer sort of profile or podcasting or some sort of content creation, so I can generate some money out of that, because that's the only way now where people see, this is what I really want to do. There are kids now who are like that Ryan's Toy Review. He's a young billionaire.
Yeah. But see, these opportunities were not present back then. So
so it's also
back then it was mainly 9 to 5.
Yeah, it's mainly 9 to 5. You work for
job.
the man. Now it's all like, there's an entrepreneurship mindset going on, which are you also tackling on the podcast where you ask these sort of questions.
Yeah, the fundamental thing, right? Like it's yes, there's a lot of factors coming in. Like jobs used to be a lot more. There used to be less immigrants. But there is a fundamental economic problem here, right? The fundamental economic problem is that anytime you automate anything, it doesn't need to be AI, even from typewriter to going into Microsoft Word, right? Anytime you automate, you are fundamentally removing certain people from the workforce, right? The argument is that, hey, if you automate things, the capital requirement to get into certain roles, to be entrepreneurial, to be innovative, to be creative, is probably higher. But you have to understand the reality of the fact is that a wide chunk of people are not innovative.
Yeah.
A wide chunk of people are not creative. A wide chunk of people are not entrepreneurial. So what we're effectively saying is that if you're not entrepreneurial, innovative, or creative, you should die. Right? Essentially, that's what we're doing. Right?
You should be removed from the face of the earth.
If you're not A+++ person,
you should.
You're a middle ground
Here's a gun.
person.
Right. So what is happening? And this is a little hypocritical coming from me, because a large chunk of my job involves automating things. But on a fundamental level, anytime we automate, so for example, we went from typewriters to Microsoft Word, right? Thank God I was not alive for that. But what happens is, when we did that, everybody, like from C-level execs to everybody, was using Microsoft Word. The role of a typist was completely eliminated.
Yeah.
The question is, what happened to said typists? Okay, some innovative, creative, entrepreneurial people went on to do something else. Okay, but the people who are trying to put food on the table, they just suffered. So over a period of time, automating, the income divide has drastically increased. That is because the quantity of jobs have reduced because we started automating things. You add that to the number of people being born.
Yeah.
Okay, not just flowing in out of a country, just being born. Our population has drastically increased.
Yep.
Okay, we have population centers, right? Some places are concentrated, some places are not at all concentrated. So if you are one of the lucky people who have the opportunity to immigrate to a place which is not saturated, you're good.
Yeah.
But the high portion is people come to the cities for jobs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
for
we
their
expect
high-paying
cities is
jobs.
where the businesses are.
Yes.
Business centers, everything, yeah.
Right? But then it's saturated. So there is like a divide in which the number of jobs being created versus the number of people that are flowing into this. So in reality, like if we just take it to the logical conclusion, what is going to happen is that some very few people are going to have really good jobs, and some very few people at the end are just going to die, and the middle ground is not going to have a substandard life for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
And that is the future we're heading towards.
Yeah.
It's the rich is going to get richer. The poor is going to die.
That,
And the middle ground is going to get
just
worse.
Yes.
It's just a fundamental problem,
Yes.
right?
The middle class is just going to keep going further and further.
Yeah,
there is like
middle-
stats that show the middle class is shrinking. The working class is shrinking.
Yeah.
And that is shrinking because the divide gets wider and wider and wider.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's just a fundamental economic problem that we have like zero incentive to fix, because the rich don't want to fix it, the poor are too poor to fix it, and the dead are dead.
Yeah.
Right?
And the middle class people are just trying to not drown at this point.
right?
Just trying
Yeah,
to
they're
get
just putting their head down, doing their job,
They just
hoping
want
for
to
the
get
best.
by,
Yeah.
right? Not just that, like you even take into consideration of okay, so let's take taxes for example, right? Over here we have something called a VAT. Okay, VAT is 5% of whatever you buy. Okay, I buy a bottle of water, it's 1 dirham plus VAT. Okay, or let's say you're buying something for 100 dirhams, you're paying 5 dirhams as VAT. Okay, that 5 dirhams VAT is more of a percentage of my income if I'm a low income person versus if I'm a high income person.
Exactly, yeah.
So effectively what we are doing is we are taxing you more for being poor. Right? And
Who the dollar value? Who is it more of a burden for? Who's more affected at the end of the day?
Effectively, what we are doing is I am going to tax you for being poor, right?
Yeah.
And what this does is that we are trying to we try to phrase it as, oh, it's a tax-free environment and everything. No, it's you're taxed higher if you're poor.
Yeah.
As simple as that, right? And what it effectively does is the poorer people are going to move out of the country, or they're going to accept lower and lower wage jobs.
Yeah.
Because of that, the salary demands are going to go
Yeah.
down. The general market salary is going to go down. The entire economy for the middle class is going to shrink down. The bar is going to go down. While the top rich people, they tend to make more and more and more money because they can hire more, they can produce more, they can do a lot more with less amount of capital.
Yeah.
So
and that 5% for them gets almost nothing.
Smaller
It's
and
just
smaller
pennies.
and smaller pennies, right? So it is an absurd system we live in, and there is I'm a nihilist, and I think there's nothing we can do to fix it. We just have to accept.
I was just gonna ask, what can you based on the number of people you speak into so many people with this entrepreneurship mindset. Is there anything that you can see someone who is middle class or lower middle class can do to get out of that bubble, or you think this is the direction we're heading in? If what is something drastic that you think they can do to really get out of that space?
Honestly, if you ask me, again, coming from a very nihilistic person, is that it's a probability game. If you're a middle class person, you can try different things. Okay, an entrepreneurship. I come from a VC background. We know for a fact that 9 out of 10 startups that start will fail. Okay,
9 out of 10. That's the number.
9 out of 10. That is the number.
Yep.
So in a VC fund, when you invest in 10 companies, and you say that 9 out of these 10 companies are going to fail. We know for a fact that these are going to fail. Okay, we don't know which on that 9 is going to fail, but we know 9 of them are going to fail. But we're saying that 10 is going to make us so much more money that it covers the loss we make with the 9.
Yeah.
Right? That is the venture capital mindset.
Is it?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Right? That is
so your one is your unicorn, which will
that one
take
unicorn
you to the
will
moon.
cover everything else.
Wow. Okay.
Right? That's why you see a lot of all these venture capital firms, Sequoia Capital, big capital companies, they invest in a diversified portfolio, right? They don't just invest in startups and everything. They also put it in traditional markets, bonds, and they hedge it left, right, and center. You have to understand, as soon as you enter the financial side of things, a lot of this is made up nonsense. Okay, it's just
just to make you sound smarter, and
it's just glorified gambling. Okay, what we are essentially doing is that we are putting a profession to gambling. We are just professional gamblers. Okay, here's the thing, right? Funny story. Let's say Janine and Joshua, you guys have a company. Okay, you make 0 sales. Okay, you have 0 customers. You have no product. You have no capital. Okay, I can theoretically prove that you are a $1 million company. Okay.
Yeah.
All I need is an Excel sheet, 3-year projection, a discount rate, and some justification for how I arrived at that numbers. And I can prove you guys are a $10 million company.
They're valued at $1 million.
All I need is 5 days.
Yeah.
5 days, and I can prove you're a $10 million company. Right? Because this is all made up nonsense. We just created unique new systems to give ourselves the handshake.
Yeah.
Right? And what happens is that even a company, you take Uber or big companies, all of these valuations are not based on fundamentals. Right? It's basically hey, I have this phone. I bought this phone for 1,000 dirhams, but I'm willing to sell it to Joshua for 500 dirhams. Joshua comes to me and says hey, 500 is probably too much. Can we agree on 350? I'm hey, we have these things. You know what? Let's do it at 400. 400, shake hands. The value of the product is what we are willing to exchange it for.
Yes.
It doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't matter how many customers you have, what your future potential. It's simply a function of how much you are willing to exchange it for. Right? So on that basis, even if you have 0 customers, 0 sales, 0 products, 0 nothing, you can be a $1 million company if you just sell the right story. Right?
Yeah.
So you would look at all these venture capital firms, that's just the private side of things. Okay? You go into the public, you have things like stocks.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay? You have bonds.
Yes.
Bonds are just glorified loans. Okay? You have stocks, bonds. But people understand that, there is only limited amount of stocks. There's only limited amount of bonds. Okay, how can we gamble further? So they created another layer called derivatives on top of that. This is just a piece of paper that says that I owe you X amount of money based on the movement of the stock. So say for example, Apple stock is there. Okay, it's currently, let's say, priced at $100. Okay, I am making a bet with Joshua that if Apple stock goes to 97, I will pay him X amount of money. Okay, if it goes above, I don't pay him anything.
Okay.
Okay, that's what we call a call option. There's an opposite of that is a put option. So we created a layer of promissory notes or derivatives which effectively allows us to gamble on these things. So if you are a very smart person, not only you will buy the stock, okay, let's say you are expecting Apple stock to go up, you would buy the Apple stock and have it go up, okay, but you also want to hedge that risk. So you would buy something called a put option which bets against it going up. So effectively both will net out to zero. Right, that's how this is finance 101.
Man, it's finance like gibberish for me now at this point, but the way you explain it is
trust me, it is gibberish. Okay, because this is just made up nonsense that we came out of, right? We out of thin air, we just created random systems.
Yeah.
Okay, that as simple as that, right? Your like the money, like UAE dirhams, right, pegged to the dollar. The dollar's value does not come from a fixed asset, right? It used to come from gold. We got rid of that system, and it comes from the fact that how much is it valued in the other countries. The minute we stop, like the minute oil trade is stopped. In like currently oil trade is in US dollars. So the minute that stops, or the minute the US government stops selling weapons, that's it. The US dollar is nothing. Like as simple as that. So there is an incentive for wars to go on, for oil to be exchanged and this thing. It's all made up systems. It's as simple as that.
because something else will crash at the end of the day, so they need to keep all these systems in place.
It's more of like there is an incentive to keep these systems in place because it's going to make a lot of people a lot of money.
Everything, right?
Yeah.
Everything's that. It's just going to make some people a lot of money.
At the expense of like death and expense of
at the expense of the entire world.
people's lives,
right?
of
Like
everything.
we completely screw up our environment, we completely screw up our eating habits, we completely screw up everything. People die, staff die. You know, there was the story like of a consulting firm in India where this woman just killed herself. Right? All this for what? Right? So that a few very rich people can make a very lot more money that they can like. There are people like you take like Elon Musk's net worth or Jeff Bezos's net worth. They've made so much money that it requires like 4 times the earth to consume that much of money.
Exactly. What are they, even if they spend so much in a day, what are they gonna do with it? You know, it's so much money.
There is so much money for like 80 generations to come true, assuming there are 80 generations even left. Right.
And Elon Musk himself said that he doesn't spend much of his money. Sometimes he even sleeps over in his friend's house or friend's apartment just to, I don't know if he still does that now, but to save money.
No, but also he's an idiot, right? There was a time in my life where I used to like one of the idols, Elon Musk, right? He was revolutionizing cars, selling rockets. Now I just look at him like a fucking idiot. Okay, he's a complete idiot, right?
You think so?
Yeah, he got lucky.
Look what he did to Twitter.
He got lucky. Like that's the point, right? He had one platform that was somewhat working, and somehow he found a way to make it worse by every metric possible. Like it takes a special skill to be that stupid.
To just drive everything.
I know,
down.
but I'm pretty sure there's something that is cooking in his dome, like some long-term plan. Like okay, let everyone everyone think I'm an idiot, and then suddenly, who's the idiot now, guys? And then
let's take that to the logical step, right? What is the objective of that? Look, Joshua, you go out. Janine, you go out. Do you purposely want to look like an idiot? Like I would think I wouldn't want to look like a fucking idiot.
I'll tell you something. There's this boxer called Ryan Garcia. I don't know if you know the story.
I know Ryan. Like I don't know the story though.
Okay, no, but he was acting like a stupid person on social media. He's doing, you know the story, right? He's doing all these crazy things, as idiot as it gets for someone. Like social media, like I'm going and I'm speaking, and he has an upcoming boxing fight. So everyone bet against him. It's like Ryan Garcia, he's gone crazy, he's gone cuckoo. Come Boxing Day, he wins, and he's like, guys, that was all an act. Now I'm richer because all of you thought I'm a stupid guy.
And he bet on himself.
And he bet on himself. Everyone bet against him. Like, seriously, even I was thinking, like, this is one of Janine's also favorite boxers. She's like, what happened to him? I'm going to unfollow him. You also unfollowed him, I think. And then he comes back saying, like, this is stronger than ever. I was just doing this as a sort of social experiment to see how the world will react to someone who's being stupid online. And then I win this boxing. I was really training as hard as I could. Win this boxing game. Even my opponent took me less serious because of what I was doing lately. He comes out of it, wins so much money because literally everyone bet against him. Like, Ryan Garcia is gonna... Yeah, you can check him out in the store. So I think that's something that's happening to like Kanye, to Elon Musk. I think they're all up to something. But again, I'm a conspiracy theorist.
No, I would think that if somebody comes and says to you that I'm an idiot or I've gone cuckoo, you probably should take them at the word.
Yeah.
Right?
At face value, right?
Yeah. I'm a face value kind of guy. Like if somebody comes to me and says that I'm going to kill you, I probably should take that very seriously. Right?
This guy is up to something.
Yeah, I don't want to take a gamble with me being stabbed, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I perhaps.
Maybe.
Again, we never know, right?
But what are the odds?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like everything they've done in the past several years, be it Kanye, be it Elon, okay? You can't look more idiotic. Right? And these are people always in the limelight.
Yeah.
Okay. I live a very private life and I would think like, hey, I don't want to look like a goddamn idiot. And these guys have a very private meltdown, like private this thing goes on a full rant about like whatever. If they are saying that I am explicitly a this type of person, you probably take them at their word.
That's also true, right? That's also true. Yeah, they're like in a...
Not just that, they have a lot more to lose
exactly
acting like this. Like, for example, Kanye, right? Like, his whole triad of whatever he was doing, lost his deal with Adidas and all these things.
Everything,
yeah. Right? He had a lot more to lose by being an idiot, and he still became an idiot. So, the conclusion is that he's an idiot.
Yeah. Where were we again on this topic?
We're talking about the Gen Zs.
Yeah, Gen Zs and stuff, yeah.
And
but there was something earlier that you mentioned before we started recording, actually. It's about how they... I don't want to say this in a negative way because, of course, I understand where everyone's mindset is currently. But you said they're a very negative generation. I think it's to do with I think it's millennial and anyone below who is really seeing the world as we know it and seeing how much, I don't want to say the word corruption, but how broken our current system is. I think that's the reason why everyone is very negative. Like back in the day, our parents could have 3 kids, buy a house, like what we were just talking about earlier, like how different times have changed. Now it's like, okay, what do I eat for dinner? Do I just have my standard chips and a juice? Or like a small potato sandwich or something like that. But now it's like times have really changed. A dirham is not the dirham that we used to know. A dollar's not a dollar that we used to know. So what are your thoughts about like this negative Gen Z, since you are also a Gen Z? Do you think it's going to get worse from now? You think people are going to be like very negative or half glass, half empty sort of thing going forward now?
Okay, so my granddad, right? My granddad came to Dubai in 1972.
Okay.
My dad came here in 1996 or 8, somewhere around there. Back then, when my dad was here, for 1 dirham, you could get a full breakfast. Okay, I mean, it's a cafeteria breakfast, so whatever.
I could buy shawarma in 96 for 2 dirhams.
2 dirhams, right?
Yeah.
Now it's 6 dirhams, somewhere 5 dirhams, some places, right? That's already increase, right? You look at that and you just extrapolate that to the larger population, right? I don't think Gen Z are really thinking about the economics of things or the system, how many people are coming in. I don't think we have genuinely, like a lot of us don't have the time to think about it because we are so worried about what to do next, right? A lot of us are very lucky in Dubai, at least, is that like we get to stay with our parents.
Right.
Like, a lot of us are so lucky we come with some decent income from our generations, right? A lot of them don't even have that opportunities. I know like kids like my age, right? Like my cousins, my relatives, they work in India for a few years and they come to Dubai and take like a salary of like 3,000 dirhams, 4,000 dirhams, because that is already an increase
Yeah.
from
Compared
what
to a
they
rupee,
were compared to what they're getting in India. And I was born here, brought up here, and I know 3,000 dirhams is good for nothing. Like you can't like live a normal life with 3,000 dirhams. Like I'm not talking about like a lavish life, like just a normal life in 3,000 dirhams is.
You can, man, but you'll be miserable, bro. You'll come home.
I mean, you won't die.
You won't die, but like I'll come home, to a room of 8 people, and I have a bed.
Yeah.
Someone ate the food in the fridge that I set aside for tomorrow.
Yeah.
All these sort of things.
And
So
you go to the washroom
possible.
and somebody already has a dump in there.
Yeah. The flush doesn't work, or the hot water's finished when I'm showering.
I mean, Dubai hot water is not a problem.
Yeah, that's also true. Yeah, that's a bad example that I gave out.
But no, that's the thing, right? Like they already see this thing. So if and a lot of people who do these transitions for a very marginal salary also has families to feed back home. They have to send back money to their parents. They have to send money back to their grandparents. If they're married, they have to send to that side of the family as well.
Yes.
Send it to the wife. They have children, send it back there. They don't have the time to think about the larger economic impacts of things. They don't have the time to think about the systemic things. They don't have the time to
That's very true.
understand. They're so worried that they will die. Or they're so worried that they'll be starving tonight. And that also plays with like the content and everything as well, right? Like the very few minutes they have, like maybe 3 minutes of their time, they're going to go on Instagram or scroll through that 3 minutes, and they're just going to get out of that. Right?
They're distracted and they're in a different place.
Yeah, and they don't have that time to listen to like a 2-hour episode of a podcast because
Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules of Life.
They want to like, they don't want the 12 rules of their life. They want like the half a rule of life. Like, right? Like they don't have the time to think about these. They don't have the time. And this, like when we talk about, like, everybody likes to think about things in a very fragmented way. There are people who will come and say, like, company owners, Gen Z don't like to work anymore. Okay. So another news article will say that like Gen Z's attention spans are not good enough. Another article that will come and say, like, hey, like you said, right, like Gen Z have a negative look on life, but these are not like fragmented issues. These are all the same issue. The same issue is that people are not making enough money, right? Gen Z are not willing to work because they are not getting paid enough for the work they are expected to do. Gen Z have the attention span less than a goldfish because they don't have the time to give that much attention to things. Gen Z have a negative perspective because their life pretty much sucks. Right? So like it is, everybody loves to like look at it fragmented, like, oh, this is a separate issue, this is a separate issue, this is a separate issue. When in reality, everything is the same issue. So if you think about why we are negative about things, it's just, there's nothing to be positive about, right?
That's
every year living in Dubai, I was in Dubai 24, I'm turning 25 next year, like Jan, right? 24 years. I remember like when I was a child, like 6-year-old, we used to have hailstorms. We used to have good winters. We haven't had a good winter in a very long time in Dubai.
Yeah.
Right? And that is just a noticeable change.
Yeah.
And you'll see some dumbass guy who somehow magically runs a company, God knows how, he'll be like, oh, today it's winter here, so global warming isn't real. Right? You can't tell me that if the system works, that this dumbass would be running a multi-million-dollar company. So there is a bit of luck, hereditary wealth. Elon Musk, for example, that's an emerald miner in South Africa, right? These things didn't magically happen. There is like a system that has been pushing through for a very long time, and now we've come to that, what do you say, the hard stop.
Yeah.
Right now we've figured out that it's a little too late. Like we can't proceed this further. And I think people my age would understand that there is something wrong. I am not getting enough to make a living, but at the same time, I just don't have the time to find the fundamental problems behind these things.
Yeah.
I have to choose what I want to focus
and
on.
to work on a solution. So it just continues.
We don't have time to work on we don't have time to fix the world. And that is probably the reason why the world will never be fixed. Right? I was speaking to my friend, like we did high school together in Dubai. She's in New York. She got into New York University with a full ride scholarship.
Nice.
Right? Very intelligent person. She lives in New York. And when she comes here, we talk about American politics. And she tells me people there live in a complete vacuum. Okay? They don't, a lot of people in America, they don't understand a world outside America exists.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's for
Then
sure.
the question is, do they at least understand what happens inside America? No. They live in their own bubble, right? And at that time, it looked like when she was telling me that, hey, people my age don't even know what's happening politically. They don't know who their senator is. They don't know who their congresswoman or man is. And I asked her okay, we were just going back and forth. Also, we were not in the right state of mind. Let's just put it there. Right? We were just going back and forth on it. And at that time, it felt bizarre that why are people not engaging with what is happening in their country? But then when you take a step back and think about it, they just don't. Especially a city like New York, where everything's fast. Everything's goddamn expensive. You don't have the time to sit and reflect on what's happening. You don't have the time to tune into the news and have everything's like a 60-character tweet that you understand or don't understand, and you don't even go further into this thing. That's it. That's all the time you have.
You're just trying to stay afloat.
Yeah, your primary purpose is not to die.
Yes.
Right? Everything else is this thing. So there is no scope for improvement in the world ever. Right? Because there's no time to do it.
You're on fight mode every single
day.
day.
You're on fight mode. And people like Jeff Bezos wants you to work extra hours. Right?
Yeah.
There was a recent article, Infosys in India is run by this guy called Narayana Murthy. Okay? He is Rishi Sunak's father-in-law.
Okay.
Right? Huge millionaire, and he's complaining about how Gen Z are not giving enough attention at work while he's making a lot of money. His son-in-law was the Prime Minister of United Kingdom. Okay, generations of wealth, generations of hoarded wealth. Okay, not just regular wealth. This is hoarded, right?
Yeah.
Every employee that they underpaid is a hoarded wealth.
Yeah.
Right? And this guy has the audacity to come out there and say that people are not willing to work, and everybody's even applauding.
This guy speaks truth.
Right. And we were talking to a person on the podcast the other day, and she was talking about people who talk about we used to talk about work-life balance and things, right? There was this one guy, she was moderating a panel. She's a journalist at Arabian Business, and she was telling us, I was moderating this panel, and this guy was talking about, I don't believe in work-life balance. I believe in work-life integration. And the entire crowd was clapping and noise and everything. What work-life integration actually means is that you do the work and you figure out life whenever you have the time to figure out life. Right? Work
is your main...
Work is, you make life and work the same thing. They integrate it.
Yeah.
And why? So that the richest rich can be richer and richer and richer.
Yeah.
It's as simple
So
as
that
that.
even
It's
when
propaganda.
it's time to clock out, you're still working.
You're still tuned in, and it's working, bro. That's what
It is
we're all
working.
doing.
It's all about the hustle and this and that. Oh, you're not working. You're just not hustling enough.
Yeah.
You need
Yes.
only 5 hours of sleep. Why do you sleep more than 8 hours?
Yeah.
It's this hustle culture that's also super.
It's working brilliantly.
100%. I agree, bro.
And that's depressing to
I
think
plan
about.
my week, bro. Now based on my what I do at work for the most part. Okay, I finish my meetings at this time, then I can do something after that. I don't plan around it. No, how do I say this? We let our work dictate what
we
we
live
do.
our lives.
Yeah, what we do outside of our 9 to 5, which is
That's nice. Right? So for me at my work, thank God, very good people at work. Very nice people. Good management's good. Very flexible with things.
It's good.
Right?
That's rare.
I tend to stay extra at work because I like the work I'm doing, and sometimes I also want to beat the Sheikh Zayed Road traffic. So I stay a little extra at work. I get my work done. I leave my laptop at the office. Once I'm out of the office door, I don't give a shit about anything.
you leave your laptop in office.
Yeah,
But
I
also
just-
that's your choice. So I think that's important.
It's my
giving your employees the choice.
yeah, that's
Do
the
you
thing.
want
I
to
can
stay? Do you
this.
don't want to stay? You want to work from home? The flexibility.
I can do all this because my company gives me that
Yes.
opportunity to do
But not
it. And
everyone is given that golden.
a very
ticket.
tiny population is given that opportunity.
Yeah.
Right? I'm lucky in that regards.
Yeah.
Right? a large chunk of the people don't have that opportunity. They work night. My dad, right? Like my dad still works day and night. Like for what? Like he'll never be the C-level executive of my company because he's just Indian, right? As simple as that. That is the major fact. He works in a government company.
Right.
The part to C-level executive does not exist for him because he's an Indian. Okay, if he was born in Europe or if he was born locally, he has that opportunity. He was born in the wrong country by mistake, right? So why the hell are you working? They're going to kick you out at 60, right? And for him, it just doesn't register, right?
Yeah.
He can't process the fact that you work, they pay you a salary for the work you do, and that's it. You're not committed to that anymore, right? And that, I think, is a huge shift in Gen Z, right? Like we look at, hey, this is my job description.
Yes.
This is what I signed up to do. This is how much you pay me. I do everything in the job description in the time you mentioned to me. I'm out.
And
that causes a lot of conflict with the management.
That is what's taken as quote unquote negative because it's such a
how
sudden
dare
shift
you
from
like it's mostly like, how dare you not do extra work for no money I'm paying you.
How dare you take sick vacation days, paid vacation days when it's entitled to you, but why are you doing it?
But because for years and years and generations, it was considered the norm.
Yeah.
It was considered whatever your boss, your manager, the company, the upper management says is
You
the
suck
rule.
it up.
You don't challenge it. You put your head down. You continue your work. If you have to take overtime, you take your overtime, and that's it.
Yeah.
But now, the shift is happening where the Gen Zs are like, actually, no.
Yeah, like we won't take any of your crap anymore. We're standing up for ourselves. There's that threat of I'm going to be replaced. But then again, the next person who comes in will be another Gen Z guy who's going to be
I
saying
think
the sort of same thing, right?
Yeah, the population's decreasing on the upper end.
Yeah.
Right? So eventually you'll have to hire Gen Z.
True.
There's no way you can
There's
run a
no
company
way
without
around
hiring
it,
Gen Z. And if companies don't adapt, they should just shut down. Right? It's
true.
as simple as that.
Yeah.
Right? And I think like some people, right? Like some of the Gen Z are in a very fortunate place to, if this thing sucks, I'm ready to just quit and be jobless for a year. I was lucky enough to do that. Right? I was like, this ain't working. The company is going to go to shit. So let me just take my salary and dip before it gets...
Before you can't.
Before I put in one more extra month of work, which I'm not going to get paid for. So the thing, like the previous company I was working for, it was like a company, we were starting out. It was supposed to do interior design and everything. It was like run by like 3 people, me being one of them. I'm a fucking child. I can't run a company. Okay?
I don't know why I'm in this position, but fake it till you make it, sort of.
I feel like, like the odd one out. Okay. One guy is like a 60-year-old. The other guy is like a very talented 35-year-old person. Okay. You guys are talented. What the fuck am I doing here? Right? 3 people company. We ran it for 3 months. We burnt a crap load of money. I was doing the accounting. I saw that there's only enough money. I'm like, interesting situation. Do we plan on raising money? No. Okay, interesting.
Time to leave.
I waited till the end of the month. First day of the next month. November 2nd. Of that year, 2023, I sent I would like to resign. Thank you very much.
Based on the financials, I can see where this company is going. So I'm...
So the investor, like the guy who started the company, he cut his losses in 2 months, went and invested in our biggest competitor.
Okay.
And then that competitor hired me. So...
I love that.
This is like a full circle sort of story.
Good on you.
Yeah.
Good on you.
I mean, good recommendation from him, but...
exactly.
Yeah.
See, but this is another thing that Gen Z are okay with. Again, boomers, can you imagine them saying, I'm going to leave my job without anything next in line? No, they'll only leave their job if either there was something else that they're moving into, or they get promoted or whatever, but they will never leave their job and be quote unquote jobless. And they will never say, I'm ready to quit without even completing a year. Like, that's the minimum. You have to complete a year. Like, at least
and there's
a
also
year.
this thing that is not there anymore, or maybe it is still there, but not as often as it used to be, is the the company loyalty.
We jump.
Yeah,
We
jump.
Yeah.
Literally jump.
Right?
But people don't realize that that's where you make your money, through jumping.
That's the thing, right? Like, okay, so the first thing is like I had the luxury to leave my job. I had my parents here. I
Yes.
had a little bit of saving. Okay. I had somewhat of a saving. Okay. It's not a huge, somewhat of a saving. Worst case scenarios, I could go to my friend and borrow some money. Okay. My dad was bankrolling me, so that was all A-okay. So I had the luxury to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of us don't have that luxury to do
Yes,
that.
I
And
agree.
even when you're talking about jumping, right? My salary jumped like twice the next job.
Twice as much as the previous
job.
Very
That's how
good.
it is.
Right?
Yeah.
I have no incentive to take like a 5% increment every goddamn year.
Well, 5%, that's a luxury, bro.
Yeah. Why would I sit and like grind my ass off for like a 5% increment when somebody's offering me like an immediate jump?
Yeah.
So we jump. All of my friends, we just jump.
Yeah.
And
If there's an opportunity.
I have no reason to be loyal to a company. Right? Like
Yeah.
People are realizing that, bro. My family would never, my parents at least would never understand that. The moment I told them I'm changing jobs, they're like, "What? You're in this company, so you've gotten so much."
You've been there for 8 years.
And then they're like, but when you look at it, like when I started, I was paying this much. Where I am now, I'm paying this much. Total maybe a 10, 15, 20% increase over the last couple of years. It's not sustainable, man. Even inflation rate is higher than that.
That's the point, right? Like your inflation rates at like 10%, 8%. Okay, but your salary increment 2%. Yeah.
Two more solid.
Where is the
opened up today.
remaining?
Yeah, where is the
delta coming from? Like,
Yeah.
where is the difference coming from?
Yeah.
Right? Not just that, like my dad, right? For example, he was working with Nestle for 10 years. And then after that, like in the current company for like nearly 13 years now.
Wow.
And that's a loyalty I have like zero reason to be. Because even the companies nowadays are changing, right? One of my friends, she was working like the PR person in my team. She got a promotion. Okay, but the promotion doesn't come with a pay raise. And they were like, it's a promotion, you're promoted, but how much is the pay raise? Zero.
But your title though has
is
the
it
word executive in it.
Yeah. So guess
Update
what?
your LinkedIn.
Guess what? She jumped. She got a better opportunity. She jumped.
Yeah.
And if you expect people to not jump after being that,
Yeah.
you're the stupid one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right? So yeah. Fun
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh, but that's the shift that a lot of companies are not yet ready for. They're just starting to realize that, okay, we need to address this, and this is where a lot of Fortune 500 companies, big companies, are hiring consultants on how do we deal with Gen Z, how do we make our company better at serving the Gen Z
friendly.
because, as you said,
Yeah.
more and more so, as millennials, boomers are already out of their way. Millennials, in a couple of years, retirement will start coming into play.
Yeah.
Especially
Maybe
as we love our early
yeah,
retirement.
Three decades tops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Gen Zs are going to be next. So if they're not prepared for that blunt, you pay us until this time or we leave. Not blunt, fair. That
Yeah, it's a
fair,
fair-
understanding of you pay me until this time, I'm gone. But again, it depends like how you view it. You say it's a privilege. Okay, I can do a little bit of overtime here and there. It's
Yeah, of course. Like I know
how you're
we're
being treated.
Yeah.
Is it fair enough? Is it not? But if companies are not ready, it's gonna bite
The
them
first
in
thing,
the back.
right? And this is coming from like we've had like the Accenture CFO on a podcast. Again, very cordial relations, fun dude, everything. But Accenture, one of the biggest consulting firms,
Yeah.
not top 4, but one of the biggest consulting. Coming from a person who's seen like my dad deal with consultants, if your company is hiring consultants, you actually deserve to like shut down, right? That is one of the most useless professions I've seen in my life. Okay, you're telling me a 50-year-old consultant is going to tell a company how to make Gen Z friendly? You should be out of your goddamn mind, right? And you look at how many Gen Z the consulting firm hires. Not much. They're probably very low mid-level employees, like very low
Interns.
level. Yeah, interns. 90% of the time they're interns. But you know who's going to get the contract for advising companies on how to make it Gen Z friendly? The 50-year-old senior consultant.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, like, if you're at that state where you're hiring consultants to tell you how to make it Gen Z friendly, instead of just paying fair wages, you should probably hit the gutter. It's just as simple as that, right? Like and this is like a often common criticism from the team, from me as well, right? Like, you try to over engineer things, and it's just a scaling problem, right? What companies try to do is over engineer problems, and in the process of over engineering, they forget about the fundamental factor that they have to pay the people. Everything else is after that. You pay the people a fair wage, you pay the people according to the market prices, you pay, like, you match the inflation rate to the best of your abilities, you give them an opportunity to grow, you give them an opportunity to be excited to come to work, a good company, good people, good culture. You do none of them, but you hire a consultant from PwC to come and consult you on how to make, let's add a foosball table and a PS5. It's Gen Z friendly.
A golf course inside the one of the floors, or
golf course in the floor. We'll stack up our pantry refrigerator with chips.
Get get coffee that is from this particular brand.
What is it like? There's the WeWork, right? They were serving beer inside They were serving beer.
Yes.
That's none of the solutions have the fact that, hey, give somebody a nice place to work and give them a fair wage. That's never in the equation.
It's all okay. Let me put a slide from the 5th to 6th floor. You know that people love going down slides. Get some into.
But we'll take that from the wage that we're supposed to pay them.
Yeah, that's gonna come at the cost of your bonus.
But you got
see
a
all the
slide.
company renovations we done, so we're out of our budget.
We have a lot of budget. What should we do? Put a slide, give you a bonus, or buy a new photocopier? You know the photocopier is going to help you with your job, or you know the bonus is going to help you with your life, but we're not going to do both of them and put a goddamn slide in our office.
Because it's more fun.
It's more fun.
There
It's
you
more
go.
colorful.
It'll make you want to come to office.
That's
even
what my
more.
PwC consultant I paid a lot of money to told me to do.
And something that you can take nice pictures of and post on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
You know,
I am pleased to announce.
No. So this is a funny story, right? I think I have to show you. You wouldn't like. If my coworkers are watching this, we all made fun of this, so don't catch on me. But this is a. Oh boy.
Is it a LinkedIn post?
Nope. I can't explain this. Please read this email.
Josh,
You read it out.
I'll read it.
Yep.
Okay. Hey team CD/PP.
That's the company acronyms.
Okay. Can you kindly like and share all the CD and PP posts on the social media? I am proposing you do it every Friday, and it will take 15 minutes or so. I am also going to propose to the CEO's office to pass the legislation not to order lunch for those who don't. Come on, guys.
With a wink.
With a winky emoji. Come on, guys. Show some love. This is what's feeding our lives, so let's fuel it in return. This is what's feeding our lives. Cheers.
So not only you're supposed to post like things, like you're also supposed to go in and like the,
And engage.
yeah. This is fair to share because everybody else made fun of it, so it's all cool.
I'm trying to...
absolute joke. I cannot believe people would put this in right.
Cheers. It's ended with cheers, of course. Yeah. Because everything makes it better when you end it with cheers.
I cannot, man. I cannot. This would make me want to. I'll just say, I don't have social media. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
I'll just. I deactivated my account. Have way too much screen time that I want to get rid of all my distractions. I was like, okay, then don't get lunch.
Again, if you treat your employees fairly, I work for a company where I think I'm being treated fairly. Every time I see a post about either my company or an ad about the products that we sell, I engage with it because I truly believe in the product, in the brand, in the company. But asking your employees to deliberately please like and share and engage.
No, the other thing is, right, like if it's like an external post that
Yeah.
tags my company, I'm very happy to do it because,
Yes.
it's an external post. As an operations person whose job is to make sure that the content person does good content, I know the content's pretty shit. I am not going to actively engage with shit content. If you want me to engage with content, make good content.
Make it
There is
better.
a person being
Paid.
to do good content.
Yeah.
He's a good friend of mine,
Yeah.
nice friend, chill dude. But make good content. I will engage with it. Like, you don't make good content, you're
Yeah.
going to make a shitty static ass post with like random like stock footage, stock pictures, and like put a number bold and like WhatsApp us. I am not going to engage with that. I am sorry.
I'm
That is not
exactly with
happening.
you.
Yeah.
I'm exactly
You're like,
with
I'm
you.
breaking my algorithm. I'm not gonna break my algorithm.
Yeah, I am not doing that. But I don't want my LinkedIn
Yeah.
network to know that like my company makes shit posts.
Oh yeah, it shows actually if you post. Yeah,
I have celebrated this post.
yeah.
I support this post.
You make good content, I'm happy to share it.
Yeah.
You don't make good content, don't expect me to share it. It's
Yeah, if it doesn't align with what I think my values are or what my values are actually, then I'm not gonna.
yeah, and I'm not being enough to do this.
Yeah.
Right? You give me a lot of money, I will do it. Like, just circling
See?
back to
Yeah,
our original
this is the
conversation.
beginning again.
The-
500,000 is
You
all I
give me-
ask.
you pay me the right amount, I'll get a tattoo of my company's name on my back.
See, this episode has come full circle.
Yeah,
I
there's
love
always
it.
a price for things. You pay the right price, I will do it.
Yeah. Maybe just to close, speaking of content, what is it that we can look forward to with your podcast?
Oh boy. Okay. We are taking a break after this episode. There's going to be a 2 or 3 week break just to get our thoughts ahead and everything, while in the back and parallelly.
Sounds like such a Gen Z guy. I need to take a break from all the all the stress that I'm going through. So no, I like it. I 100%
This break
agree.
is not like a break.
Yeah,
this
yeah.
break is to just
to
get our
recalibrate
thoughts to
and
get what's next and everything.
I agree. I would do the same.
While parallelly editing and
You have a
reviewing
backlog
previous
of-
footage,
yeah.
everything. So our first episode is going to be with a senior reporter at Arabian Business.
Nice.
Next episodes with somebody from Alan TV and bunch of journalists from there. So 3 journalists. We have the chief risk officer of Deutsche Bank for Middle East and Central Europe. After that, we have a bunch of fun episodes with people our age, like young entrepreneurs doing fun stuff.
Nice.
We have people from HR coming in and talking about like, why is HR such a nightmare? And we all love to complain about how the HR is not selecting us, but this time HR is complaining about why they don't get good candidates and how hard their job is and why it's a bigger problem.
The other side of the
from their
picture.
side of the coin.
Yeah, so we wanted to see that they were talking to us and they were telling us, hey, listen, there are candidates, we get them the job, we can't get to the company, we tell them this thing. First day of the work, they call the company and be like, hey, listen, I have a family engagement, can I start from tomorrow? Or they just ghost the company,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So it's not a one-sided problem.
Yeah, it's a two-sided
It's a
battle,
two-sided
yeah.
problem, right? And all these things happen. So they go on we give them the space to rant about it. Then we bring in like 2 entrepreneurs, like a local entrepreneur who's building like an AI legal platform.
Yeah.
Another entrepreneur who's building like a community platform for young people. On the pipeline, if everything goes well, we should have like the dean of Zayed University. He was scheduled for this Saturday. He unfortunately had to postpone. And a Forbes 30 under 30 entrepreneur coming in as well.
Nice.
So that is this season. We have the next season planned out from January, where we have the CFO of ADNOC Drilling coming in.
Very nice.
And a person from Uber, person from like a bunch of really huge startups coming in, and we're probably going to figure out a way to slot in our friends somewhere there so that we can have a balance. So
Nice.
a lot
Looks
of
like
things
a
in the
very
pipeline.
jam-packed schedule.
Yeah, I am not looking forward to it.
No, that's why this break is really well deserved,
Yeah.
right?
And I think it kind of helps that we are planned quite a bit. We have everything scheduled. We've have like I've showed you the Excel sheet, like the Gantt chart.
Crazy,
of,
by
like,
the way, guys.
6-week Gantt chart, like for every episode. So we're going to
That's
use.
a very operations and process person.
Yeah, it's a-
Who's the project manager who's doing
Yeah.
all the Gantt charts?
Yeah.
It's what do you say? Again, it's over engineering what could be. Hey, do this. Could be it could be as simple as that. But my goddamn mind can't work that way. I need everything in a chart or everything in like a
Yeah.
sheet, and that's how it works.
Yeah.
So we have like even all the guests we've outreach to. I usually mostly use this to like show off to my team that I've hosted more episodes. But again,
do a lot of
yeah, I'm the one who does most of the work. It's mostly a show off.
It's
metric.
my podcast.
But we have like everybody we are potentially going to lead. We are going to have whoever we've outreach to, how many people we have to follow up with, how many people have ghosted us, how many people we have booked. We have 11 people booked so far. Okay. And how many people are in which stage of the production. So full timeline over here.
Nice.
So we all, like, every person that comes in, we spend 1 week researching about it inside out, which we are probably not going to do with you guys. But we're going.
Josh, you can see that you've murdered someone back in.
That's a fun story. We had a guy. I don't want to name names again, but we had a guy who's like he's a guy who was like he's a bootleg Andrew Tate kind of character from Egypt. And he reached out to us saying that, hey, I want to be on your podcast. First, we were like a little off put by that because we didn't want to platform so-and-so people. But also at the same time, it was like a wonderful opportunity to test out waters. So we went out, we did a research on him, we collected a 20-page dossier on him, we found out his shell companies, his dad's shell companies, his tax returns in UK, everything. And
What?
and we collected all that information. We had 45 minutes. We didn't want it to be a confrontational conversation, so we made it friendly, we made it chill, like we were laughing and
So
chill.
what are you lying about?
No, we were just questioning in that front, and we got him to admit that tax evasion is A-okay. And it's on record, by the way. It's on the
Wow.
You posted it? That's-
Yep.
And
I
now
love
he's
that.
being investigated.
And now he's in jail.
There were like Panama Papers, so we know where his
No
shell companies are
way.
there. We know where his dad's shell companies are there, right? And I don't have enough information for all of these things, but my speculation is that there is a little bit of money laundering going somewhere there. Okay, but that's a speculation. I have not enough information to prove that. But there are all the red flags for this thing comes in. Like when I was in VC, like one of the things I was doing is due diligence. My job was like to figure out said red flags, right? Same number of associates, multiple number of companies with zero revenue streams, companies that are just doing something for the sake of just showing revenue, shell companies in dad's name, shell companies in relatives' names. All of this is a little
Yeah.
fishy.
Yeah.
The
red flags were flagging.
So it was a fun episode to do because we went in with the idea of what this person is potentially doing. We knew what this person is definitely doing, and we just had to get him to say it out loud in the most easiest non-confrontational way.
Right.
So if the feds show up on your doorstep and you
I have
don't know
a
why.
Google Doc to share with them.
Exactly. Here is the 20-page dossier that we collected.
500,000 dirhams. That's
Dude, we did like an intent. So he has a book which he it's all ghostwritten book. Okay, it was like 75 dirhams on Amazon. There's no way I'm paying 75 dirhams for that. Okay, by the way, 75 dirhams is not a lot for a book, but for that book it's a very lot. It's a huge ton of money. So what we did is like we went back to him. Hey, we love to have him on the podcast. We like to do our research on our guests. Can you share his copy of his book? And they shared a copy of a book. Okay, so we got the book free of cost. I went through the book end to end. You see the book, like it has so many I don't read a lot. There is so many sticky notes with notes, everything inside that, and like I've like ripped apart the book inside out, and all of that was part of that 20-page dossier we collected on that person.
Right.
And that was the most fun episode we've done.
So you should do that on Josh so that we could see if there's anything that you're hiding.
I feel like that due diligence process should have come from you. Yeah.
We don't. We do a little bit of research, but we don't do a 20-page dossier.
Yeah.
Because what we
don't
like
have
is discovering our guests on the show, as spontaneous as
we
it
typically
is.
do a 4-page dossier for everybody else.
Yeah.
This was a special case.
Yeah.
Uh,
And this is why they're called Dollar Diaries, because they actually do proper research on people, do a couple of, notes here and there.
Sort of setup.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've had cases like when we started, we didn't used to do this much again because we were new, we were newbies, we had no fucking clue. Again, sorry for swearing. But what happened is like we had one scenario where we were so underprepared, and it was not a good look. I mean, the guest was,
Right.
Especially if the guest is a high profile sort of person.
it was
Yeah.
a reasonably profiled person,
Okay.
and it just wasn't a good conversation to have when we were underprepared. And
Right.
it sucked to be underprepared. So
Yeah.
since then, we changed up everything. 2-week process. We reach out to our guests like 1 week in advance. Tell them, hey, are you free on a Thursday or a Friday before this podcast, so we can give you a brief on what to talk about, what to do, everything.
Nice.
We talk to them. We get their no-nos, yes, everything in order before we go and even talk to them. right? So, and that's helped quite a lot because
Yeah.
some of
Gives
these,
you guidance, especially you guys are what 8 people podcast.
yeah, we have
You
the
guys should know what
manpower,
questions to ask. You
Yeah, and you have the manpower to
We have
the
not
manpower.
exploit but take advantage of.
No,
right?
not just
Like-
that. Like everybody has different things to do. Like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
guy in investment banking, his job is ruthless.
Hmm.
Okay, goes in at 9, comes out at 9, like 14-hour days. It's
Yeah.
ruthless. This guy wants to host an episode. He doesn't have the time to do the research.
Yeah.
So somebody else who has the time to do the research does the research. All he has to do is read through that 4-page document before he comes in, and
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
sorted.
And then he can-
And
yeah.
that helps quite a lot because he's not going in blind. At the same time, he has enough room to explore
Yes.
and also like not look like a complete idiot
Yeah.
in this process, right? So it
course.
helps quite a lot.
Yeah. Maybe we learned a lesson or two.
Yeah, I know. I think I'm learning more about how to run a
Again,
podcast.
we're more of a lifestyle comedic
Yeah, yeah,
podcast,
yeah, yeah.
very different. If I started a
Culture
business
one.
podcast, I'll probably work on a 20-page
no,
dossier.
that's-
Also
on
the
someone.
guests, right? Like so, for example, some C levels they have to check with their PR teams and
course,
everything
yeah.
as well. So
Exactly.
all
what
this
can they say,
preparation
what can
helps.
they
Yes.
disclose? Yeah,
Yes.
no, that's very true.
Yeah. So some of these people are like, so for example, like a bank C-level executive, what they say is they call it market movement,
Yes,
right? Like the stocks and everything will react.
of course.
By the way, we got to know a lot of dirt on the bank, by the way, which we cannot disclose. But let's just say there were some things happened.
Okay.
But if he said that on the podcast, that could have like, and if even one person sees it, like they are like high net worth individuals who can move a lot of money out of the system
Of course.
immediately.
Yeah.
And that's a market moving thing. So they have to check to the PR team and everything. So
Can I
this
say this? Can I
6-week
say
rigorous
that?
process kind of becomes a compulsory thing that we have to do if we want to attract
Yeah.
these types of guests.
Yeah, and if you want more and more of them in your podcast, then you have to make sure that you do your due diligence.
Yeah.
I agree.
Thank you for sharing. It sounds exciting. We're excited for you guys.
Thank you.
And
And
we're
by the
excited
way,
to
you
come.
guys host a lot of comedians. You guys are comedians as well, right?
He's a comedian.
He's a comedian. Okay.
Yeah. I don't do.
Why?
I'm not.
No,
not
just
funny.
asking. I always wanted to try stand up, and I don't think I'll be good at it because I speak too fast. But I don't know. I've always wanted to try it.
Come with me one day to a show. See how it is.
Okay.
I'll
Yeah.
invite you.
I'm open to it.
Huh?
Yeah. Speaking to the mic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next one is there. Are you free? Come and watch me if you want.
When is it?
Where?
When and where?
When next Wednesday? In Barsha, Oak Life Bar.
Okay.
Like right behind Mall of the Emirates.
Okay.
I'll send you the details.
Yeah, send me the details.
Let me know if you want to
Yeah.
come.
Well, I want to try it out. I've always wanted
Just
to.
see how it is. See the
Yeah.
flow because I mean I can talk forever about stand up. She knows it and she wants to pull her ears out whenever I talk about stand up. So I'll speak to you separately on that. But thanks for joining. I know
Thanks for being here.
No,
yeah,
thank
I know
you.
it was very hard to schedule you in and us in. It was
Yeah,
a lot of back and forth.
It's fine.
but-
We are used to it.
yeah, but we know the struggle. But thanks for really coming, bro. All the best to your podcast, Dollar Diaries. We'd love to have you back with
The rest of
few
the gang.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I'll get my friends.
Yeah.
and-
Yeah.
When I
Come
get
on.
my friends, they'll probably shit on me more,
Okay.
and that's probably a good
Yeah,
balance because
yeah.
otherwise I talk too much.
Good, no, then good you're up first, so so
Yes.
everyone can see the.
And we're
the
looking forward
progress.
to being on
Yeah,
their
we're
podcast.
looking forward to being
too.
on yours.
Yes.
Yes, we'll,
All right.
we'll check it.
Thank you so
Perfect.
much for your time.
Yeah, thank you, man, so
Thank
much.
you.
And on
Thank
that
you,
note,
everyone.
bye guys.
Have a nice day, guys. Bye.